much in an erection spread. I stood.
That was an abrupt end to that
It
song.
was. It was. I was hoping you were
So,
paying attention there. Yeah.
so what's up, man? Long time no talk.
Long time no episodes, and it is
Yeah.
100% my fault. For anyone that might be tuning in for the first time, or anyone besides Brooke, I guess. I've been working like fucking 84-hour weeks, you know, hours a day. They just cut us back to 8 hours a day and put me on third shift. So the show's gonna be shorter because of that. For once again, anyone that's tuning back in, we're gonna try to keep pushing them out, right? We're get back on track here, man.
For sure. I think probably keeping them shorter is a good idea anyways.
I agree. I think we're going to have a setup that's something like kind of 15 minutes intro, half an hour on the subject, and then a 15-minute closer. Something like that. Something like that.
Sure. Sounds good.
Yeah, man. I wanted to talk to you about, you know, I have gone around and defended Alabama and the South quite a bit on the internet and on a few podcasts and on our show, on both shows, right? Wayward Atheist and this one.
Sure.
And my new job is in Woodstock. It's in S-Town. Like
Shit Town. Yeah.
You remember the podcast S-Town?
Sure. Yeah.
I'm working in S-Town. I drive by Triple K Construction every day.
Wow.
On Highway 11. I've seen a different side of Alabama in the last 6 months, Dave. I've been
that you're not defending.
I'm gonna say that you know, like most stereotypes, there is a basis of a lot of the stereotypes. Now, of course, the reason I didn't experience so much of it is I've spent most of my time in the larger cities, right? I go from Birmingham to Tuscaloosa, and I do not stop between those two cities. I will drive down to Mobile, and I do not stop in Decatur. I do not, you know what I mean? I don't stop in Auburn. I just keep my ass going until I hit, you know, a major city. You know, working with these people, I felt for the first time in my life pressure to not talk about atheism.
Really? Eh?
Yeah, just like the topic of God comes up, and I'm less than thrilled about it. And a lady literally goes, "You're not going to tell me you're one of those damn atheists, are you?" And I was like, "I am not going to tell you that, because I work with you, and I do not want to fight you." And it's good because she's in a position of authority now, so it's a good thing I didn't pick that fight. In fact, I believe I've told you about this, but I'll one lady, and I was just, man, joking around with her about how awesome I was, and she snaps on me. You know, I have mentioned, though I backed down in that particular situation, I have not lied to people. I have talked about being apatheistic and not being religious, and you know, my whole journey. I have discussed it with some people, just not that lady at that time. She was so confrontational. But so this one lady turns around, different lady. Let's call her Carly because that's her real name. Carly turns around and yells at me, says that she's not going to work with a godless fuck like me, and she'll have my job. And she tells me that I need to wash my dirty fucking neck, which is a Hispanic slur. You know, like wetback is fresh across the border. So I need to moisten myself once again. I need to wash my neck. Is the meaning? It's a vague slur, but that's what it means. And she still works.
It's not really vague. That's not vague.
Most people don't
clear
get
to me.
it. Okay, yeah. Well,
no, that's pretty.
Once
pretty
it's explained
clear
to you, it's clear. But not everyone goes, "Oh, wash your neck." There must mean, because the first few times people said it to me in my life, I didn't catch on.
Really, I would have caught that right away.
No, I remember being like, "Is my neck dirty?" Like I don't. Like I'm not kidding, because I happened to be at my first job, a place called J Electric. The same thing happened. This big white dude, who was, I think, also gay, and he threatened me in some weird ways and made some weird sexual passes at me. Awkward situation, Dave. Awkward situation. Yeah.
You should tell the Germans.
Tell the Germans. You know what happened is I used it to get moved to a different shift. Now, funny enough, that lady ended up on the same shift, but I got away from this girl that I was dating and some of her friends. It ended up being a positive move overall, and like as long as the lady leaves me alone, I'm not into taking people's jobs. You know, she won't admit that she said the godless stuff. And she claims that she didn't mean anything racial by the wash your neck thing. She just meant that I was dirty. And because we ended up in the office and she was supposed to apologize. Anyway,
Does it matter anyways? Like even if you were like
no,
it's not an etiquette.
Yeah,
it's not you don't like you wouldn't go up to somebody like it's
right,
clearly
right.
like it was meant as an insult.
Yeah,
it was meant as an insult.
She apologized to me for that, right? For that insult, she's apologized to me. And what I say is, if you can't admit that you said the godless fuck, have my job shit, you can't admit that, and you can't be honest about what that you're having a racial slur. Your apology is fucking meaningless. So and that's how I ended up. That's when I was offered moving shift when they should have fired her for religious and racial discrimination. But whatever, man, it's fine.
Or at least a reprimand.
Some sort of disciplinary action, and she's fought with several people since then. I mean, but don't worry, I've cussed out a couple managers. It's a very stressful job.
Yeah,
very, very. The hours alone are stressful enough, but it's also.
So why don't they get a third shift going?
We just started third shift, and that's what I work.
Okay. No, but I mean like 3/8 instead of fucking.
That is why we are on 8-hour shifts now instead of 12. We did start that. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I moved out of that department to like the other end of the building, and that upset the Germans because I'm really good at my job and they want me in that department because a lot of people can't cut it and I do very well. Like I never slow things down. I'm always ahead. So they wanted me back there, and I told them that I would not come back until they set up a third shift because they've been telling us they were going to set up a third shift since January. And just lies, like doesn't happen. So I told them, like, I'm not coming back to you, actually. And then suddenly they hire, like, 20 people and start a third shift. Yeah, I'm not saying one is necessarily connected to the other, but I don't think it hurt. But yeah, man, it's been interesting, another guy called me Pablo and stuff because I'm, like, Mexican from the ghetto, but he's being playful, he's been playful, like he's half Native American, and I've said some mean things to him about Native Americans because no one ever makes fun of Native Americans, so when you
they do here
when you bust out racist jokes towards them, no one is racist towards them here. No, people are very proud. Like everyone says they're part Indian. Like
really,
and they're not. Yeah, like oh yeah, I'm 1/16 Choctaw. Like that shit that Elizabeth Warren did is so typical. It's funny that she got her ass ate for it because it's so typical. Like everyone here claims that, and you'd be surprised how many people would say that they are actually related to a Cherokee princess. Funny.
They have all kinds of names for them here. Like all kinds of
racist.
Racist names.
What I say is I'll be like, hey man, what was the name of that reservation we forced your family on? And he goes, I don't know. And I was like, you still haven't learned to read that sign, have you? It's like you really can't expect to defeat an enemy when they can read and you can't. Like they can give orders and things and. They have a history they can rely on.
God.
It's like, if you don't have the will, it's really hard to fight people that have guns.
Holy fuck.
And then, I come to him one time. And we're joking with each other. I was like, what's the difference
between so you're joking at this point.
Yeah. Okay. I said, you know what the difference between a Mexican and a Native American is? He goes, what? I said, Mexicans were smart enough to breed in.
Oh.
Yeah. See,
son of a bitch.
We don't.
So here they call them chugs. Chug is for the amount of booze that they chug because there's tons of alcoholics. So spear chucker, Shabordnik, Bogan, all kinds of nasty shit.
I think the most racist slur I've ever heard, and I don't know if this is necessarily true. I heard it on like a radio show in like 2000, where this guy said that they called the Aborigines in Africa, they called them bongs. Because that's the sound they make when you hit them with your car. Bonk.
Oh.
Yeah.
You mean in Australia? Or
Yeah. Australia,
Australia,
Aborigines.
not
Yes.
Africa. Yeah.
Oh, did I say Africa? I'm sorry. I'm in Australia. Anyway.
Yeah, that's bad. That's
So
brutal.
you wanted to educate me. We're 10 minutes, 11 minutes
Yeah.
into the show now.
So-
you wanted to
so we
educate
can
me
jump
on
in.
what's going on in Canada, or as I am dubbing it for this episode, cuckistani.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
That is what they call editorial control, Dave. I'm the editor, and the episode will be called what I want to call it.
I would say your left party's going further than our left party is right now.
Oh my God, we will get to that reparation shit in that upcoming episode. And I was asked to talk about Alexandra's Ocasio-Cortez. I was asked to talk about her. And there's some comments that a Muslim congresswoman made. I heard
that.
I think that's what we're going to be talking about on the next episode. So, Brooke, hold on tight. But today we're going to learn about what's going on in the Great White North, but from the Great White North.
From the Great White North. So
you didn't introduce yourself, Dave. I was just.
I thought I'd change it up. Fuck.
Okay, yeah.
On the Great White North. That is the fucking hipster hillbilly.
Oh man, I had a name for myself, but you just made me forget with that one. We'll use it. Let's go.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So what's going on?
There's so much in the news. I'm not going to bring up fucking articles and read through it. I'm just going to give you like a run through. If anybody wants to think that I'm being dishonest, just Google everything I say and you'll see what's up. So there's a company in Canada called SNC Lavalin. They're a Quebec-based company, and what they are is they're a multinational, multi-level construction and engineering firm. They're massive. Like their profits are in the billions every year. So they're at the upper level management. They're very dirty. So like they'll bribe countries, like government officials in other countries, to get the contracts in their countries. So what this all stems from is in 2001, the company had bribed Gaddafi and Gaddafi's sons. Now, I'm going to assume that people know who Gaddafi is.
Anyone that doesn't know, he is the former, I'm testing myself.
Dictator of Libya.
Dictator of Libya that was executed and skewed with the pole up his ass.
Yes, exactly.
Hillary Clinton loves making jokes about it. Yes. Yeah.
So anyways, back in 2001, they bribed Gaddafi's sons so that they could get lucrative contracts and the hundreds of millions of dollars in Libya rebuilding stuff after they were bombed. So the problem with this is that the government of Canada loans companies money to do outside of the country work, right? So the company will take a risk doing projects in third world countries, and the Canadian government will back them with money in order to do this. Well, what they did was they took the money that the Canadian government gave them to back their risk management of working in third world countries. They bought Gaddafi's son a yacht and $30,000 in hookers.
Oh.
So,
you know what? I'm not even mad. Like, I mean, hookers need money too.
Yeah,
like,
but
I'm more upset about the yacht than the hookers. I'll say.
I
that.
would.
Like, I understand the hookers. Yeah,
I'll keep my tax money and buy my own hookers.
Fair enough. Yeah,
that's my tax money.
Well, I mean, this is why you don't have princes. I mean, that way, you know, you can get hookers for yourself instead of getting the prince hookers. Yeah.
So it's not just Libya; it's all kinds of other countries. The World Bank won't let them borrow money for 10 years because think
that they would just have like a sex harem and wouldn't need hookers. Actually,
yeah,
but now that I really think about it.
Okay, so sorry. Let me clarify. SNC brought them to Canada. Okay. This plot is going to get a lot fucking hairier. Okay, like a lot fucking crazy.
That's an important detail because I'm thinking
that's
like
an important. Yes, no, they brought them.
He can just steal and rape women back home. He's in Canada now, so he has to buy
he's in Canada, and we're sending him blonde, blue-eyed, $30,000 in European-looking women, right? Okay, so
slightly more upset.
Slightly more say yes, and who knows if they were underage or what, right?
Little
Like
racism just showed up there. Ooh, yeah,
we
gone.
don't you don't know at this point. So, anyways, um, they're being investigated at this point by the international governing trade and business outside of Canada. So they are found to be guilty of nefarious business dealings in Africa, Switzerland, all kinds of other places. Like in one country in Africa, they stole like $150 million from them, and they're not allowed to borrow money from the World Bank or bid on contracts um, outside of Canada for the next 10 years. That as long as the country is a part of um, due to technical difficulties, this will not be posted live tonight.
Yep, sorry.
That just came into me. Okay. Anyways, long story short, they're a fucking shit company. So when the U.S. Bombs Libya and Gaddafi is ousted, SNC snuck his sons out of Libya, brought them to Mexico, and then tried to sneak them into Canada. Ask yourself, why in the fuck is an engineering and construction company trying to sneak dictators' sons who are supposed to be arrested at this point into Canada? So they got them into Mexico.
Wait, they took them to Mexico to get them to Canada?
Yeah.
Did they remember that one of the largest and most secure countries in the world is between the two?
Well, you can fly directly from Mexico to Canada. You don't have to stop in the U.S.
Well, you can fly directly to Canada from any country.
Yes, but they would have been stopped for sure if they've been coming in from like as a five-eyed country.
Okay.
Anytime somebody flies in from one of those countries, like Liberia or Libya or fucking any of those countries, it's flagged right away, and you're checked. You're not just going to waltz through. But if you're coming from a NAFTA country, you're not necessarily going to get scrutinized at the border. Anyways, so all this shit comes to light, and the dealings with the yacht and the hookers. So the prosecutors in Canada decided that they were going to prosecute them.
Good.
So they're taking them to court. Let me jump back a little bit. Back to 2016. I know this is kind of all over the place, but it's a very long and convoluted fucking story. Back in 2014, Stephen Harper put in a law that prosecutorial governance, they govern prosecutors in Canada govern themselves. There is no political interference within. You keep popping that up. This is going to be shit.
Sorry. It's the only, if I put it up on the other screen, it'll show up on the live stream.
Okay.
So
Sorry.
It has to be there. Sorry, man.
My bad. I'm just not sure if I'm supposed to read it. Okay, let me start again. 2014, Stephen Harper put in a law that said that prosecutions in Canada are separate from government. There'll be no government interference. So politicians can't say, go to a prosecutor and say, no, we want this guy to go to jail for a long time, or they can't say, we're going to get this guy off. So the Liberals in the not even a year ago, knowing that SNC Lavalin was being prosecuted in Canada because of the stuff that they did back in 2001 with the yacht and the hookers, smuggling and all that crazy shit. The Liberals put in an omnibus bill inside of a bill that had nothing to do with deferred prosecutions, but they changed Stephen Harper's law that you can do what's called a deferred prosecution, which means the company goes, yes, my bad, we're sorry, we won't do it again, and they pay a fine instead of being convicted and found guilty. The reason why this company doesn't want to be found guilty is because you're not allowed to bid on federal government contracts in Canada for 10 years. The government is their sole client, or not their sole, but their 90% of their work in Canada comes from the federal government. Now, Now, I should add to this that the SNC aren't known hardcore liberal lobbyists. Yeah, they donate a lot of money to the Liberal Party, and they've even been found to do shady shit with, because in Canada we have strict laws on how much you're allowed to donate. Well, they set up phony accounts that they would say that this money was going here, but then they'd siphon it through to an employee, and then the employee would pay it to the Liberal Party of Canada.
Okay,
all this stuff came, money laundering, but to give money to the Liberal Party of Canada.
Both.
So all this stuff came out in this trial, and the prosecutor was like, "We're not giving them a deferred prosecution. We don't care about your omnibus bill. They're being prosecuted, and that's in the courts right now. So they're going to be dealt with in the courts." Okay, flash forward to February 2019. The Chronicle Journal, the Globe and Mail in Canada, gets a hold of documents stating that this SNC thing, and that the government put pressure on the Attorney General of Canada to put pressure onto the Crown Attorney that's prosecuting SNC Lavalin. So basically, Trudeau and his cronies have gone to the Crown Attorney of Canada, the Attorney General, and said, "Hey, we want you to take over this because this independent Crown Attorney is not playing ball with us. He's not playing political politics and letting us give them a deferred prosecution." So they keep putting pressure on her. This comes out in the newspaper. A week before it came out in a newspaper, the Attorney General was moved from her position of Attorney General to the Minister of National Defense. In the article, it stated that because the Attorney General would not put pressure on the Crown Attorney or take over the case, they fired her from that position and moved her. So this comes out in an article, and Trudeau gets on TV and denies the entire thing. Says nobody put pressure on anybody, and the reason why you know this is because she's still in cabinet. She's just we had to do a shuffling. One of our people left, and that's it. So the next day after that, Jody Wilson-Raybould, the former Attorney General, quits cabinet because the pressure had been put on her. So now people are going like, "What the fuck is going on here?" So they set up a Justice Committee to kind of suss out what's going on. Now, the Justice Committee comprises of all the parties that are in the government or that are in the House of Commons, but a majority of them are the Liberals because the Liberals have the majority of the seats. Okay. So they call Jody Wilson-Raybould as a witness because they want to know what's going on. And the first thing that she says is, "I have sustained a pressured and calculated pressure to overturn the SNC Lavalin for political reasons."
Oh shit!
And she goes on to talk for 4 hours, basically like fucking drops the fucking bomb. Like in one of the things that she said was Trudeau himself came to her and said, "Now SNC Lavalin is a Quebec company. And their office is in my riding as an MP. I depend on them." Like it was just insane, right? So she goes through this whole thing. She has text messages, dates, all this shit. So it wraps up, and then the Liberals call in the people that she was talking about, and they say, "No, she's lying. It's just a difference of opinion, blah, blah, blah." A few weeks later, people want Jody Wilson-Raybould to go back. The Liberals outvoted. But what happens is she's allowed to submit testimony, and in there is a recording of one of Justin Trudeau's cronies saying exactly what she said, putting major pressure on her. "The Prime Minister really wants this done. He's in that kind of mood. You better follow along with what he's saying because basically you're going to lose your job if you don't." Like very veiled threats, but threats, like understandable threats. And at the end of the phone call, you'll get this reference. She says, "I feel like I'm in the middle of the Saturday Night Massacre." From the Nixon. Remember when the recordings came out from Nixon and he fired everybody that one Saturday night?
Oh, wow. I didn't. I don't know that much about the Nixon thing.
Watergate thing. Okay, so basically,
I know what happened at Watergate.
Yeah.
And I've heard the tapes from his office, but I don't know about a big firing.
Okay, so basically, they call it the Saturday Night Massacre. He fired a bunch of people when the tapes came out. At the end of the conversation, she says, "I feel like this is a Saturday Night Massacre," and the other foot's about to drop. A week later, she was fired from her position.
That's
now, remember, this is the first Indigenous Attorney General of Canada. And his party is, and a woman, and his party is supposed to be all about Indigenous and feminism, right?
Right.
So after she puts out her statements and everything, the Liberal Party go on attack. Like, you've never seen this shit before. Like, Liberal supporters putting out racist slurs about her, like just throwing her.
I've heard a lot of liberals make racist slurs, actually.
But I mean, like, out in public,
Like, no, they do that shit. They call them coons and shit here. It's like, if they step out of line, they use racist slurs against the Democrats. The left people use racist slurs against them. Like, you get like black people get racist slurs from two people here in the South. Like, like hardcore, like progressives telling them that they need to act black. That they should act. Why are you working against yourself? Like, why would you help people that act like people that oppress you? Like they say crazy shit like that. Call them coons.
Yeah. So anyways, flash forward a couple weeks, and they're now they're starting to try to put things out, like to say that she was that she was conservative. So she had a Supreme Court judge in mind, and he is the Supreme Court judge of Manitoba, and he's an Indigenous fella, and he's got some conservative views. He's not like hardcore, like anti-abortion, anti-gay, but he's got some conservative views. So they leaked the process of this out. The Liberals do. Now, they won't admit that they leaked it, but they leaked it, and that's against the law in Canada to leak that information. Like the process in which the government selects Supreme Court justice and Supreme Court judges is supposed to be secret. It's not supposed to, like, you're not supposed to bring the guy's name up. I don't mean the process is secret. I mean, like, his identity's supposed to stay secret.
While we're talking about governments making illegal actions, I just want to real quick, and we'll move on. Free Julian Assange. Let's move. All right, go on.
Okay, so
fucked up. Guys can be arrested. Yeah.
Anyways, so the opposition asked for an investigation into who leaked this, but because the Liberals have the majority in the House, they put the kibosh on it. They put the kibosh on the Justice Committee. So basically, the NDP are asking for a public inquiry, and the Conservative opposition just keep hammering away at this. And Andrew Scheer, starts calling Justin Trudeau a liar outside of the House of Commons, because inside the House of Commons, you have protection. You can say what you want about the other parties. Nobody's going to get sued. So outside of the House, he starts running through all the falsehoods that Justin Trudeau made. Like, one of the things that Justin Trudeau said is that Jody Wilson-Raybould never came forward and said to her that she was feeling pressured and that it wasn't right and that this was political pressure. Well, in the House of Commons, he was tricked into admitting that she did come forward to him personally and say, you guys have to stop.
Are you kidding? Like Matlock style? He was like,
there's a really smart conservative MP from Ottawa here, from Carleton District. His name is Pierre Poilievre. Super smart, fast talking, kind of like a Ben Shapiro type. Like, he's been in the House of Commons since he's in his 20s. You know what I mean? So he's been around. He's a lot smarter than Trudeau.
Sharp fella, yeah.
Sharp fella, a lot smarter than Trudeau, and he
worded him into it.
Yeah, I know, but smart enough to make him admit that he was lying, because normally Trudeau gives the exact same answer every time, no matter what the question is. It's the same answer. So, anyways,
what? Please fuck my wife. What?
Yeah. No. So Andrew Scheer, outside of the House of Commons, calls Justin Trudeau a liar, says he put political pressure on Jody Wilson-Raybould. Well, 2 days after he made that statement, on March 31st, he received from Justin Trudeau and Justin Trudeau's team of lawyers a cease and desist, or you're being sued, retract the statement or you're being sued. So your boy Andrew Scheer, who's the conservative leader, like the conservative party leader, people have been calling him dull and like he doesn't stand out enough. Like this wasn't exactly like a fucking Winston Churchill moment standing up to fucking Hitler, but he took the lawsuit, went on national television, read it to everybody, then read the statement that he was being sued over again, and said, "When are we going to court, bitch?" Right? Meaning he's not cease desisting.
Yeah.
Next day goes on national news again, reads a statement, gets into question period. I'll explain question period. Question period is when the opposition parties.
Let me guess. Guess. It is a period where you get to ask questions to the
of
other
the government
side of like the controlling body. Oh my God, how did I guess that? The question period would be a period of questions. Go on, Dave.
Yeah. So, anyways, gets in there and he's like, "When are we going to court, bitch?" And like every single person in the Conservative Party, when they get up there, they're like, "Trudeau said that Scheer was lying. Scheer repeated his statement. You said you were going to sue him. When are we going to court?" Because if they go to court, it's something that the Liberals can't shut down because they won't have a majority there. It's now it's in the hands of the judge, right? And in that, Justin Trudeau is going to have to prove that what Andrew Scheer was saying is a lie, that he didn't put political pressure on Jody Wilson-Raybould. So all of the witnesses that the opposition wanted to call to the Justice Committee will then be called into the court system. And all of that dirty shit will come out. So where we're at right now is the Liberals saying that they put the Conservatives on notice, but they ain't doing fuck all because they know if they go to court, all the stuff that they've been shutting down because they have the majority is going to come out into light. End result, the Conservatives are up by 10 points. They were down by 3 points before this happened. So they're polling at like 40%. Justin Trudeau has a lower approval rating than Donald Trump.
Donald Trump's approval rating is actually pretty high.
It's been lower than Trudeau's the entire.
I believe that. I believe that because you guys were in a trade war and we're more divided about Trump, and you guys were a united front in the trade war and we were not.
Yes.
So like I can totally see that. But just for the record,
I know Trump, he does. I know he has
approval but ratings has matched Obama's pretty much.
But here's the thing.
Anyway, go ahead.
Here's the thing. Here's the kicker of it.
Yeah, kick me.
Donald Trump has been accused of what Justin Trudeau's been doing all along and found innocent with the Mueller shit, like breaking the law, breaking the law, all that shit. Well, and his approval and collusion, but still, and he's been accused of putting political pressure on things. He's been accused of a lot of things, and basically Justin Trudeau has done what Donald Trump's being accused of. And his approval rating has fucking gone down while Trump's has gone up. Here, check this out. So the pressure's getting on Trudeau. Trudeau has a fucking fundraiser where it costs $1,500 a plate to get into this fundraiser. There is a reserve up around where I'm from, up in northwestern Ontario, that has had major mercury leaks from a pulp mill. And they have the worst health in Canada. They have the worst life expectancy because of this. So some protesters, some Indigenous protesters from there, because the Trudeau government promised them money that he didn't give, get in there. They fucking hold up a banner and they say, "When are you going to fucking come through on your promise?" Security comes, grabs them, comes to kick them out. And he fucking real snarkily, as they're being kicked out, says, "Thanks for the donation. Thank you very much." Because it costs them $1,500 a plate to get in. Now, that is something that Trump would say and be accused of, right?
And I would think it's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but
we have 15 minutes left. Go on.
But I'm wrapping it up. But this is not this. It would be different if this was who Justin Trudeau claimed to be, right?
Right.
But
it's the opposite of what you expect or want out of. It's the opposite of what his base wants. I would want that, and I'm not a Trudeau guy. I'm I'm far more behind Trump than I am behind Trudeau.
So I forgot to mention one thing. So one of the one of the other female MPs in the Liberal Party came forward and said, Justin, you need to tell the truth.
Yeah.
End result, Jody Wilson-Raybould, the former Attorney General, and Jane Philpott, who was like also a cabinet minister, have both been kicked out of the Liberal Party. Like ousted. And they've been on full attack mode against them the entire time. So, unprepared, that is my statement of what the fuck is going on in politics in Canada.
What happened with Trudeau and the sexual harassment accusations?
Well, the girl herself said that she didn't want it being dragged back up, but so like in Canada, because our
it's nothing. The short answer.
Not yet.
Nothing come of it.
But he's not going to get charged. He's not going to get charged. But what's going to happen is, so like, you know, in the US, you guys have your fucking elections take 2 years. So basically, as soon as you're elected, you're re-campaigning in the US. Here, because
you have a 2-year break. Yeah, you spend half your life campaigning.
Yeah, you spend half your life campaigning. Well, in Canada, because we pay for the elections, they're only 60 days.
Yeah, well, you also don't have 350 million people to talk to.
Yes, yeah, but it doesn't matter because we pay for it. We want it over and done with as quick as possible. So after the summer break, that's when this shit is going to be brought up again, and the dirt is going to fly.
Yeah, because it's gonna demotivate his base to vote for him.
His base, and it already has. Like they had this thing called the daughters.
He's fucked. My guess is he's fucked.
Yeah. Oh, he's screwed. My
prediction is that Trump will be reelected in 2020, and we'll have a very conservative North America.
Yeah, well, that's been the trend over the world, right? Like the world trend is to vote more conservative.
Yes. And to be honest, it is typically the correct answer. Like if you have a stable system, the conservative vote is that what we're doing now is pretty good.
It's correct. Yeah.
That is the basis of conservatism is tried and true methods.
Yes, I'm just going to say this one last thing on this, and then that's it. How you know he's in trouble is they had this thing that they set up called the Daughters of the Vote. So they brought in like young women because they want them to get involved in politics. When Justin Trudeau stood up to give his "I am feminist" speech, they turned their backs to him.
Ooh. Yeah, he's in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Big time.
He's not going to be able to Indian dance his way out of this one.
No. The shine is off. If you read the headlines, they're like, rock star prime minister falls to earth. The world has crashed down upon Justin Trudeau. Like even the far left newspapers like the Toronto Sun are trashing him. Like it's over for him. It's over for him.
I like that Dickies hat, by the way. I'm wearing a Dickies shirt. No.
Sweet.
Official sponsor of the show.
Dickies,
if you guys want to take us seriously. By the way, my mother has a clothing store. She sells Dickies clothes as well. It just so happens. I'm actually a big fan of their stuff, man.
Yeah.
This shirt was $8. It's extra long and like double thick. Yeah. It's nice. Anyway, love Dickies shit.
$14.99.
I was proud to see you. Yeah, dude, I was proud to see you wearing a Dickies hat. I was like, my boy's got some American fucking clothes. Anyway, with your Canadian flag behind you.
And my Canadian t-shirt. Logan.
Yeah. Yes. You're correct. He's a Canadian superhero. Dead on. Yeah. Gosh, there was so to burn if you would like to.
Sure, man.
Yeah. I'm putting a new chain and sprockets on my bike, a new gas valve. I have put in a new fucking clutch in my car, two new coils. I dropped a coil this week. Had to put a new one in it.
Right on.
When it fucking rains, it pours, dude.
Yeah. And is it running good now?
Yeah, it's running good.
An older bike is a money pit.
Yeah, I talked about two vehicles, like the bike and the Mini. Yeah. I know those old Hondas. Once I get it in good shape, like the chain was stretched when I got it. Like the The person that had the bike knew that the chain is stretching, tires need to be replaced, and they were probably having trouble out of the solenoid because the solenoid was fully broken when we got it. We had to replace it. That's all that we had to do initially to get it running. And then I put about 1,000 miles on it with a stretched chain, and decided it was time to park it and put a new chain on it.
How's your British car? Very expensive, on the parts?
How much do you think the coils cost for?
Fuck, I have no idea.
They're $60 a piece, man.
Yeah.
Not that bad. Not that bad.
Okay.
A coil for a Ford truck, I believe, is like $120.
My
and you have 8 of them. I have 4.
My power steering went on my truck, and for some reason in that year that I purchased, they went with electric power steering instead of the old hydraulic system. They've now gone back to that, but when that power steering motor goes, it's connected to the shaft and everything, and the part is $2,500, not installed. Just the part is $2,500.
I got my clutch replaced for I think $700. The part was $300, and I paid the guy very well to do the work quickly and get the car back to me. And just like my grandfather's neighbor, which is who's doing. I don't have time to work on the bike, right now as much as I'm working. So, while initially I was doing the work myself, now I'm just paying someone to do it. And
you've been gigging it up.
Oh yeah. I have been. I've been doing open mic at a local brewery, Druid City Music Hall. They brew some delicious beer. You know what? I'll probably have some with me in an upcoming episode. They sell growlers you can take with you. And I love their porter. It's at 9.3% alcohol, dark, rich. Hardy, 9.3.
That's a tough beer.
Yeah. And this last time I played, there's a video, by the way, on my Facebook. If anyone cares to watch it, Dustin Dark, find me on Facebook. I'll be putting probably all my stuff. Like I'll just probably live stream all of them. Why not, right, Dave?
Yeah.
I'll probably just go ahead and just live stream.
The woman in the crowd that was talking too much said that you talk too much.
Yeah. You know what? I'm actually going to address that next on the next episode. Next week when I don't know if I'm going to go this Sunday. Probably next Sunday when I go, yeah. I'll address that. I'm going to tell them I used to play on stage every week. I even toured with the band, but I didn't do it for like 10 years. Not that long. But from 2010, I stopped. Done. My equipment was stolen, and I had to, start from scratch. And I just now started. I did like 6 open mic nights when I moved to Tuscaloosa 3 years ago. But outside of that, I haven't played from anyone but family. That's it. Yeah. Facebook videos. So when I went back, I went to Green Bar and I did an open mic night, and I was extremely nervous. Someone asked me if it was my first time doing open mic night. Oh. So I'm just trying to get much more comfortable on stage again, which I have already gotten much more comfortable on stage.
What do they expect? What does she expect you to do? Go up there and sing a song and then just sing another song and then just sing another song?
Most people are nervous and they don't have an abundance of personality. Like I'm a bit of a showman, like I'm gross as a person in general, most people do not talk as much as I do. Most people don't talk at all. A lot of people. Okay,
but if you go to a concert, I don't know if they've ever been to an actual concert.
Oh,
they talk before they fucking sing.
They do often talk between songs. The front man, the entertainer.
I would say like 99% of the concerts I've been to, the front man talks.
Yes. I would have to agree with that. But not an open mic nights.
But that doesn't.
Most people, I think, are terrible. Like I said, let me finish here. Most people don't even tell you like what they played.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like they don't give you anything. They just go up and they play. Most people, But I'm trying to be like a more rounded entertainer. Mm-hmm. Like I don't think anyone picked up on it, but I wore an Alabama jersey with a hippie bandana on, which is just making fun of the whole confusion of college. jock hippie, like that
Okay.
that mutation. You know.
Yeah,
And
I thought you were
I
just
was
trying to
going
keep the
I was
the
going
hair
for
out of your eyes.
no, I was going for irony. You know,
Okay.
it's like kind of a weird statement there. You know,
Yeah.
and then the set was first two songs were about heroin abuse. So
There you go.
yeah. I don't know why I always play such sad music, Dave. It's weird.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's wrap this.
Wrap
Let's
it up.
wrap.
Man,
All right.
it's been great to talk to you again, Dave.
Yeah, I was a bit rusty there. I was fumbling over my shit. I also didn't prepare for it. I just
Yeah, this was wholly unprepared. I think 2 days
yeah,
ago or yesterday we decided
yeah,
we were going to do this, and we'll do it either every week or every other week. We'll talk off air and see how often we want to do this because
for sure.
this is how we'll have to do it for until further notice.
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right, man.
have a good night.
Okay. Later, guys.